What if your soulmate was already closer than you think? Not like a fluke, not like a chance encounter, but like something that has always been written, just waiting for the right moment to manifest itself. Many people spend their lives waiting for that connection. Some believe that true love arrives without warning, like a surprise from fate. Others doubt that it even exists. But the truth is that before this meeting takes place in the physical world, it has already been designed on a much deeper level. On the spiritual plane, your soulmate is already approaching. There is energy moving, there are signs revealing themselves, there is a silent calling going on behind the scenes of the universe. But are you listening? Can you spot the signs? Most people don't realize. They are distracted, stuck in the past, attached to connections that no longer make sense. And so, they let go of what was already destined to be theirs. The universe always whispers before delivering something big. He doesn't throw soulmates in front of each other without purpose. He prepares, he tests, it shapes, and that's why there are 3 powerful signals that announce when this meeting is about to happen. But these signs are not obvious. They do not come as direct predictions, but rather as subtle shifts in your energy, your life, and your very being. And the question is, are you paying attention to them? Because if your soulmate is about to appear, the universe is already warning you. The first sign that your soulmate is approaching is this internal transformation. Something inside you is changing, but this time, it's no ordinary change. It's not just the desire to try something new or get out of the routine. It's something deeper. You feel like you're leaving old versions of yourself behind, as if the universe is peeling away layers of your soul to reveal who you really are. And this doesn't happen by chance. Suddenly, what used to make sense no longer fulfills you. You can notice it in small details. That friendship that once seemed unshakable now sounds superficial. That job that used to give you security now seems suffocating. That song you used to listen to repeatedly no longer provokes the same emotion. Even places that were once special are beginning to lose their luster. It's as if something inside you is saying goodbye to what is no longer part of your new journey. And then you start to wonder, why is this happening now? Because soulmate love cannot find you while your energy is still stuck in old patterns. Think about it. How many times in the past have you been involved with people who were not aligned with who you really are? How many times have you ignored clear signs that the relationship was unhealthy, only to repeat the same cycle? Remember that time you felt like you needed to leave, but chose to stay because you were afraid of the unknown? How many times have you accepted crumbs thinking it was love, only to realize later that real love doesn't cause insecurity? Now all of that is being broken. The universe does not allow your soulmate to enter your life while you are still carrying unnecessary weights. He needs to make sure you're ready. And to do so, he makes certain things simply lose their meaning. It's as if you are clearing a sacred space within yourself, as if you were reorganizing your internal home to welcome something great. You feel this change when you suddenly realize that you can no longer sustain empty conversations, when forced connections seem increasingly distant, when your heart begins to yearn for something that you can't yet define, but that you know deep down is coming. But this is just the beginning, because right after this internal shift, the universe starts sending tests, situations that seem like opportunities, but are actually used to see if you have really learned from the past. And this is the second big sign that your soulmate is getting closer. The universe never delivers something great without first making sure you are ready. And soulmate love is one of the most transformative connections there is. It doesn't come to you randomly, unprepared, or immature. Before this meeting happens, there is an invisible process happening behind the scenes in your life. a process that you may not even notice immediately, but that is shaping you for this moment. And part of that process involves testing. At first, it may just seem like a coincidence. Suddenly, people start appearing in your life. Some seem interesting, others awaken feelings you haven't felt in a while. You feel like you are close to something special. The energy around you begins to change. But then, something happens. These encounters, which seemed promising, begin to reveal familiar patterns. Situations that you have experienced before begin to repeat themselves. Maybe it's that person who appears like a charm at the beginning, someone who knows exactly what to say, who seems to understand you like no one else. The conversation flows, the eyes meet with intensity, and you feel that this could be the connection you were waiting for. But over time, the signs begin to appear: delayed responses, empty apologies, unfulfilled promises. You realize that once again, you are faced with someone emotionally unavailable, someone who cannot or will not offer you the love you truly deserve. Or maybe it's the past trying to infiltrate your life in unexpected ways. A person who was once part of your story reappears, bringing memories and promises of change. At first, it seems like a new chance for something that didn't have a proper outcome. But as time passes, you notice that the same patterns start to repeat themselves. The same insecurities, the same pain, the same frustrated expectations. And then the question arises, do you really want to relive this story? Or are you ready for something new? And therein lies the test of the universe. Maybe it's in the form of a friendship that suddenly becomes a challenge. That person who has always been by your side, but who, upon noticing your change, begins to doubt your journey. You feel like you need to distance yourself, but the fear of loneliness holds you back. The universe wants to know, are you willing to let go of what no longer resonates with who you are becoming? Or an opportunity arises that seems perfect. A new relationship, a new job, a fresh start. But something inside you hesitates. The signs are there, subtle, but present. Is this a gift from the universe or just another test disguised as an opportunity? These tests are not accidental. The universe is asking, did you really learn? Are you ready for something bigger? Are you willing to break the patterns that have held you back for so long? And if you haven't learned yet, the cycle repeats itself. You return to the same pains, the same dynamics, the same challenges. The lessons continue until you make a different decision. But if this time you understand the test and choose differently, something changes. You feel it, as if a new door is opening inside you, as if, finally, the universe realizes that you are ready. Because the moment you decide not to accept less than what your soul truly desires, the path aligns. The real meeting approaches. But before that, there is one last sign. A sign that cannot be ignored. Something inside you starts to empty. But it's not a desperate void. It's not a loneliness that hurts. It's a space being created. If before your mind was full of doubts, of questions about the past, of repetitive cycles that would not close, now there is a kind of silence, a gap between what was and what has not yet arrived. A feeling that something inside you is finally ready to say goodbye to what is no longer part of your path. And it is in this space that true love can enter. This process may seem lonely, but it is where you find your true strength. You no longer accept anything. You are no longer satisfied with halves. And when the universe realizes that you've really learned your lesson, it doesn't hesitate to deliver what you've always dreamed of. This is the last sign before meeting your soulmate, the necessary closure. You feel it in every detail. The hurts of the past no longer have the same weight. The desire to relive old stories disappears. People who used to occupy your mind begin to lose their importance. It's as if something is being reorganized within you, as if the universe is cleaning out the last traces of what no longer belongs to your journey. And, at that moment, something curious happens. Instead of anxiety, you feel peace, an unexpected tranquility. The feeling that, for the first time in a long time, you are no longer chasing anything. Because the truth is that soulmate love doesn't come when you're desperately searching for it. It arrives when you are ready to receive it. And that's exactly why this last sign is so important. It marks the moment when you stop waiting and simply trust. The moment you understand that what is truly yours does not need to be pursued or forced. When this inner silence happens, when this space opens, the universe finally has permission to act. And it is at that moment that the meeting takes place. The universe has already sent the signals. You felt the change within you. You went through the tests, you broke patterns, and now there is silence. But this silence is not absence. It is the space where something new is about to emerge. And at that moment, the question arises, are you really ready to receive this love? Because meeting a soulmate is not like in fairy tales. It doesn't happen to complete you. It doesn't fill gaps. It doesn't fit perfectly into unrealistic expectations. On the contrary, this type of connection transforms, challenges, expands. If you still carry unresolved fears, suffocating insecurities, or emotional dependencies within you, this connection can become a mirror. Everything that has not been healed within you will be reflected in this meeting, which means if you're not ready yet, your soulmate might show up, but the relationship won't blossom like it should. Therefore, the question that really matters is not, when will this person arrive? But yes, when will you be ready to receive it? The preparation for this connection does not happen in the external world. It happens inside you. It's in the way you treat yourself, the way you take care of your heart, the willingness to leave the past where it belongs. The love you desire is already on its way, but the big question is, will you be able to recognize it when it arrives? Because when that moment happens, there will be no doubt. You won't have to wonder if this is the right person. You will feel it. You will know. And when that meeting finally happens, everything will make sense. Life has its own rhythm, an invisible flow, like a river that follows its course without haste, without delays, without errors. But how many times have you tried to swim against the current? How many times have you wanted to rush something that wasn't yet ready to happen? Soulmate love is like a seed. It does not sprout in the desert of impatience, nor does it flourish in barren soil. He needs space. It needs time. The land needs to be ready to receive it. But instead of preparing this soil, many people spend their lives desperately digging the ground, trying to force the growth of something that is not yet ready to be born. And that's exactly why true love doesn't arrive through desperation, through incessant searching, through trying to fill a void. He arrives in silence, the moment you stop running, the moment you understand that there is no longer any need to search. Think of a traveler lost in the middle of a dense forest, walking aimlessly, trying to find a way out. He moves quickly, anxiously, looking everywhere, but he sees nothing but the shadows around him. But then something changes. He stops, breathe, be still, and in the silence, he notices a trail that was always there, but that his despair prevented him from seeing. True love works the same way. He was never far away, he was never hidden, he was never something that needed to be chased. But while you were distracted by fleeting illusions, by the need to find someone to fill your needs, by the ghosts of the past that still held you back, you couldn't see what was always being prepared for you. Soulmate love cannot be found. He recognizes himself. And this recognition only happens when you become who you were always meant to be. The universe does not send your soulmate while you are still vibrating at the wrong frequency. If your energy is misaligned, if there are still unresolved fears and insecurities within you, this love may appear, but it will not remain. Think of a lighthouse by the sea. He doesn't go looking for ships. He doesn't chase them in the ocean. It just shines, emits its light, stands firm in its existence. And because it shines, ships find it. True love doesn't come to save, it doesn't come to fix, it doesn't come to complete you. It comes to overflow. And therefore, your preparation does not happen outside but inside. Every silence you faced, every cycle you ended, every person who left, every test you overcame, all of this was necessary. Like a sculptor polishing a masterpiece, removing unnecessary layers, polishing every detail, the universe was sculpting you for this moment. Now, look around you. What seemed empty is actually a space being prepared. What seemed like loneliness is actually a call to something greater. Your soulmate is already approaching. But the real question was never when she would arrive. The question has always been, will you be able to recognize her when she finally appears? Because this inevitable meeting is closer than you think. You went through all the phases. You felt the change within you. You broke patterns, faced the tests of the universe, learned to let go of the past, and now there is silence. But this silence is not an end. It is a prelude. True love does not arrive with a bang. It does not appear as an unexpected shock. It reveals itself subtly, like the sunrise after a long night. First, a timid light on the horizon, then a stronger glow. And then, when you least expect it, everything lights up. This is how the soulmate approaches. And when it arrives, you won't have to ask if it's real. There will be no doubt, no fear, no need to force anything. It will be like coming home after a long journey, as if every step you've taken so far was just preparation for this meeting. But remember, true love is not a prize. It is not a reward. It is not something that is earned. He is a reflection of what you have become. And now, the final question. Are you ready? Because this love is coming, and when he appears, everything will make sense.